Did Michael keep Isiah off that team in 92 or not? Because it seemed like some in the last dance we were still dancing around the subject matter, Jack.
Well, what pushed the Dream Team tapes to the success it had was the fact that I have Michael on tape telling me that he didn't want Isiah on the Dream Team. I went to interview Michael in 2010 or 11, and my main thought was, how am I going to get around to the Isiah question? There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but Michael kind of went to it himself, and he said, I didn't want him on the team. And it's sort of like World War I. There's 37 reasons why it started, but the reason for us was the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. Yeah. The main reason that Isiah was not on the Dream Team was that Michael Jordan didn't want him, and period. And people that defend Isiah could say all day, legitimately, that hey, the guy, he won 2 championships. He was great at his best. He was probably better than John Stockton. And I would say all that is correct. I hear you. But in the year 1991, when they were picking the team, would you be the one to pick Isiah Thomas over Michael Jordan? And the answer to that is no, you would not be that person. I don't care who you are.
Right.
So
and we had Rod Thorn on the show after he appeared in The Last Dance, and we were trying to, dissect it, that did Michael ever communicate it to another human being, or everybody who was surrounding the Dream Team's selection process just knew Michael would not countenance the actual countenance of Isiah on that roster at all? Because Dumars was allowed, and Chuck Daly was the coach. And so did Michael ever communicate that to somebody who then put it into practice at all?
Yes, he did. And I wrote that at the time because of a very, very good source, not Jordan himself. A very, very good source. This is back in 1991 when the team was picked, told me. And the reason that everyone has danced around the subject was because you can get out of it. Well, Michael didn't pick the team. There was a whole committee. So the whole committee had to decide, blah, blah, blah. But Michael let it be known, and I'm not going to say to who, because this person has already denied it. And, you can live your own truth. As Jordan once said, it's not a lie if you believe it.
That's right.
I just know that it was known. And the interesting thing to me, Rich, is that Bill Laimbeer had the clearest point about it, and that was if they would have picked that team a year earlier or 2 years earlier, let's say 89-90, and they kept Isiah off, I'm not sure they could have done it. The Pistons are rolling. They won 2 straight. They won 89 and 90. Isiah is playing at a top level. The Pistons are the greatest thing going. Would Michael have pushed it at that point? I don't know. But even Laimbeer admits it was easier. By 91, the Bulls had taken over. The Pistons were a little bit passé. Isiah was not at the top of his game. He got injured somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly. So it was a little bit easier. So, it would have been a very interesting thing if the team was a year later. But don't let anybody ever tell you that Michael Jordan did not let it be known that he did not want to play with Isiah and had backup for many other people on the team. What if Magic would have said, oh, no, man, Isiah's my guy. He's got to play. Shut up, Michael. That didn't happen either. And so that is another reason people always say, well, it wasn't just Michael. That's right. It wasn't just Michael, but it was primarily Michael.
Well, as a diehard Knick fan who had to sit through the Bad Boys era because I was going to the University of Michigan at the time, I'm more than happy to poke more holes through Bill Laimbeer. If it was held 2 years before, that was before Isiah and the rest of the team, and Laimbeer refused to shake hands with Jordan after Jordan finally beat him. You know what I mean? That doesn't make much sense either in the timeline, right, Jack? That had something to do with it. That really might have put it over the top. That might have been the Archduke Ferdinand shooting, after all those years of buildup. You know what I mean?
The not shaking hands with the Bulls happened in the Eastern Conference Finals of '91. So they ended up announcing the team. That was like in May of '91.
So they had not yet. Oh, I got it. Maybe that's part of the reason why he didn't shake hands. They knew it.
Yeah, I'm not sure he knew it at that point. But the interesting thing about this,
right?
You don't forget it, was that the guy that was unbelievable skating, had a pair of ice skates on, was Chuck Daly. I mean, he coaches the team.
Right?
He doesn't see to get his captain on there. Not only that, then he becomes Michael's best buddy. I mean, the two friendship stories from the 1992 Olympics are Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing, and Michael Jordan and Chuck Daly, who played golf every day together. So I never felt good about this Isiah thing. He's not only I'm not saying he didn't do some of this to deserve it, but he not only doesn't make the team, then he has to watch his coach, who he's going to play for the next season, be buddy-buddy with the guy that kept him off. It was a very tough pill for Isiah.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.